Are you worried that Michael Cohen might flip?
Look, I did nothing wrong. You have to understand. This stuff would have come out a long time ago. I did nothing wrong.
Is Michael Cohen still your friend?
It's really nice.
News breaking just in the last hour from ABC News that Michael Cohen has participated in hours of interviews with Robert Mueller's team over the last month. From that report, quote, the special counsel's questioning of Cohen, one of the president's closest associates over the past decade, has focused primarily on all aspects of Trump's dealings with Russia, including financial and business dealings and the investigation into alleged collusion with Russia by the Trump campaign and its surrogates to influence the outcome of the 2016 presidential election. Sources familiar with the matter tell ABC News. Investigators were also interested in knowing, the sources say, whether Trump or any of his associates discussed the possibility of a pardon with Cohen. Joining the conversation is former U.S. Attorney and former Deputy Assistant Attorney General Harry Litman. Harry, what do you make of the fact that now that Michael Cohen is availing himself to the Mueller probe, to the Southern District of New York, that there is basically an open floodgate of all of Donald Trump's business dealings and all and anything that Michael Cohen may have witnessed on the campaign when it comes to intersections or efforts to coordinate with Russia?
Right. I mean, it's very significant, although I wouldn't say surprising. There had been some speculation maybe Mueller isn't interested in talking to Cohen, but he obviously has this wealth of information on Russia. Also on the financial side, where ABC also reports that he's cooperating with the New York Attorney General. It's pretty huge. He and also, as with Manafort, Mueller holds all the cards right now. He's made no promises about whether he'll give him any credit for cooperating, same as with Manafort, and both men have to just give it all up and hope for the best. And in Cohen's case, that is really a wealth of things in Russia. He's in the Steele dossier. He's in the attempt to form a Trump Tower in Moscow, and then also dating back 10 more years on the financial side.
And it would seem that and this is the first I've seen that Mueller's team is interested in talking to Michael Cohen about pardons. That seems to me that maybe they're looking at Michael Cohen as a potential witness in the obstruction of justice investigation as well. Is that the right read on that?
I think, and more generally, they endorse the proposition that holding out the hope of a pardon or dangling a pardon is a potential obstruction of justice. That's a theory that applies to multiple witnesses, starting with Steele and moving forward, including Manafort. So if they've endorsed that theory, it's going to get a lot of play probably in the report.
Nick Confessore, what do you make of this ABC News report that, you know, it's important when you read this to go back to Trump tells, and we know from Donald Trump that the original raid on Cohen's offices was perhaps the gravest injustice that he's perceived so far. He called it an attack on the nation the day that his lawyer and fixer's offices and homes were raided.
Look, they've got to be sweating over there right now. 12 hours is a long time. It's a lot of testimony. I was thinking about the Prague meeting that Cohen denied actually having, but which there's some kind of reason to think that he actually might have had. It's certainly possible to kind of evade passport stamping.
Right.
But look, you know what's fascinating to me is I think the president is being undone by his own lack of loyalty to Michael Cohen. And the question of pardoning him is now completely beside the point. Cohen is on Team America on this stuff. And if you had just given him some cheesy White House job and made him happy, but instead he has turned. He's not being pressured anymore, I don't think. He is ready to cooperate. He is going for it, and that's got to be terrifying to the White House.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, Elise. He has now availed himself through media reports and through an attorney, as has been reported, to try to help bring down the president if he has participated in a conspiracy with Russia to affect the election, and if you believe the ABC reporting on the pardon, to help them make their obstruction of justice case.
Well, I agree with Nick that a man who is rejected, like Michael Cohen, is far more dangerous than one who feels like he still has something to gain from this situation. He saw nothing left to gain from Donald Trump and just the totality of the terrible treatment that Trump had heaped upon him. And also just why couldn't Donald Trump pay his legal bills? Yeah. Why couldn't he, as a Trump employee, Inc. employee pay the legal bills.
Well, let me push back on you, though, because isn't Bob Mueller showing that he's the great equalizer? I mean, Manafort was willing to stay loyal. I mean, here's the deal. If you have any evidence about Trump committing crimes, Mueller's coming for you whether you're loyal or not.
Well, I'm not even as interested in Michael Cohen as I am Michael Flynn. And his sentencing date was set for December 18th. And some are speculating that that is signaling that his period of cooperation is over and the Mueller investigation has elicited the information that they need from Michael Flynn. What did Michael Flynn do and what went down that he observed during the transition and during those, I think, 23 days he was national
security advisor? Let me bring you back in on that, Harry. Let me just bring Harry back in real quick on this question. I mean, it would seem two questions for you. One, is Mueller simply trading up? He's now got Cohen and Manafort and he's done with Flynn. Is that why he's ready for sentencing? And pick up the thread on this question Elise and I are talking about. I mean, it seems like whether you're loyal or not, if you have evidence, if you have testimony that Mueller wants, he's going to get it.
Yeah, he is going to get it, but it's not simply the disloyalty, though that's really been vivid. But Cohen is going to be sentenced December 12th. He has serious charges hanging over him. On Flynn, it does indicate that he's done with him. It's a little perplexing because usually you would keep him around if he might need to testify. But in all of these, we're finding with Manafort, Cohen, et cetera, Mueller has belt and suspended everything. Remember, we have the testimony from Weisselberg and Pecker on what Cohen has to say. In general, you have a really comprehensive and duplicative investigation by Mueller. So I think he thinks he can let Flynn go.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.